Hello, put the tip in here. It is the 22nd of November, coming to you from a cold and rainy Nottingham. Um, yeah, we're still 6 subscribers away from 100. Let's change that. Please, if we could get to 100, I'd be a really happy man. I've kind of come up with some ideas for improvement for next month to try and make the product better again, and clearer for you guys. But yeah, I mean, yesterday was a mixed bag. Is the only way to describe it. We ended up £12 down, um, because we started the day really poorly in terms of this is solely going on about tier one, obviously. Bold Fury ran a good race, but just not near enough. Safe Destination looked well within placing, if not winning, and was so badly hampered it was unreal. I can't believe that he didn't pull the horse up. How he ran on to finish sixth says everything I need to know that that was a good bet, and I'm not too disappointed in it. If Safe Destination places at, I think he went off at tens. If Safe Destination places at tens, the day is different, and we're actually in profit. So that's why that's frustrating. So yeah, Portoro and Captain Palmer did the business for us in terms of placing. No wins. We had a win in tier two with Liz McBride Hill at 6-1. Um, we had in the overpriced section a win at 8-1. Little Empire. That overpriced did phenomenal yesterday. We had St James's Finest who actually ended up going our favourite placed, and Call Me Legend placed as well. Um, I was actually quite interested. I do watch obviously other tipsters, and a guy called Peter Fillingham. If you haven't watched his channel, check it out. Um, he gives the odd free tip away. I think he does it as like members bets as a paid thing, and then free. But his free bet was Perfect Day, who finished in front of Call Me Legend, but both placed on the day. And the second he picked that race, I was a bit gutted, because I started questioning it. But we both placed. Happy days. Um, so yeah, it was an overall successful day. I know we're a little bit down in tier one, but overall in all the other tiers we were up. I'm happy with it. Today, what a day of racing we've got ahead of us. It is, 6 meetings, um, a really good jumps meeting in Ireland, some really incredible stuff in terms of if you're looking at the Grand National or the Gold Cup, um, even some of those lesser races at Cheltenham. I think there's a lot to go at today. There's a huge staying handicap that should be telling. Haiti Couleurs returns far sooner to kind of, I think Haiti Couleurs is clearly maybe aiming for the double of the Gold Cup and Grand National, and I like Haiti Couleurs for the National. Um, I mean, maybe not my exact pick, but certainly one of the horses I've got in mind and is decent odds in the kind of prelim. I hadn't even bared it in mind for the Gold Cup, so. Um, yeah, there's lots to go at today, and we'll jump straight in since there's a lot to go at. We start in the 205 at Ascot. That is the 205 at Ascot. The horse we're looking at is Regard. That is Regard at 5-1. 5-1 for Regard. I've actually got another selection in this race at an overpriced, but this seemed like a really, really kind of solid bet. Most recent run over 3 mile 4, which will feel more like 3 mile 5 or 6, was at Cheltenham, and finished second. Uh, Previously at Haydock, won a race over 3 mile 4. Loves this marathon trip. Really good first run back at Cheltenham in October. I should have this this horse ready. Jamie Snowden's yard is flying, so I think this could be a good thing at 5-1. Not a big price, but an each way price nonetheless. I think the market is wide open on this one. We'll jump straight to the 240 at Ascot, the following race. The 240 at Ascot, and your pick here is Katera. That is Katera at 9-1. Now this is a three-place race. Um, and you've got, if we're perfectly honest, a really solid horse called Woodo, um, who won at Cheltenham last year. I tipped to win at Cheltenham last year, flew home, just incredible. Um, Obviously, she gets weight all round as well from a mare's allowance. That's frustrating. However, not had a run yet this year, so isn't necessarily fit. Well, the Dan Skelton horse has had a run this year. I think the main challenge, if you ignored Widow, would be obviously Celtic Dino, but naturally, because the market's gone so short on them, Katira we get a really good price for, and I think it's between those three horses. And it's a jumps race; anything can happen. So I'd take Katira at 9-1 all day long. We move across for our other two races in Tier 1 to Wolverhampton now. The first race is a horse I've tipped before because it's my horse. But I think at these weights, we have a really solid shot. Extra place races, all of these. Street Life is currently 11-2 in the 555 at Wolverhampton. That is 11-2 for Street Life. Will probably be backed in, runs very consistently. I think this is a bet to nothing. This would probably be my bet of the day. Each way, I just maybe won't win, but definitely will place. That's my viewpoint on it. And I can't really give you much more of a great backing for that. Pat said really great things about today, so fingers crossed. In the next race at Wolverhampton, the 625, that's your fourth pick, and that is Jazz Bomb. That's the 625 at Wolverhampton, Jazz Bomb. As you can see, you don't only need to look at the form to understand how consistent this horse is. For the last 7 starts, it's finished in the top 3. Even the 6th that it had before that was a very close-up 6th. This horse is, the darling of the yard for Sam England, and Sam England is the informed trainer. I think when I looked at the stats, there's no trainer going better than him at the minute. Obviously, it's a small yard, so naturally you don't get all of that variation. But I can't believe that this horse is 15-2. That is mad to me. I understand, obviously, it will have gone up in weight. But yeah, Jazz Bomb for me seems ridiculous. If you can get 4 places in this race, because Sky's only 3, I'd probably look around. I imagine Will Hill will offer up to 5 places. I'd be doing that with this horse. But yeah, Jazz Bomb 15-2, pretty solid. And that's your tier 1. I understand the tiers are kind of getting a bit muddled at the minute, and that is what I will improve for next month. I accept the feedback. I want a good product, and that's what we'll do. But for now, tier 2, start at the 11:45 at Huntingdon if this video gets to you in time, and that is Eddie My Eagle, who ran a solid race in a bumper. As long as he takes to hurdles, I don't see better form in this race personally. So I think it's a good thing. Just the jumping totally depends on the jumping. So Eddie My Eagle 11-2 in the 11:45 at Huntingdon. We then go across to Ascot again, where all of these huge races are going. And that is the 3:15 at Ascot. 3:15 at Ascot, and it's actually Calico. This could have easily ended up in the overpriced. I've got 18s, but I think it's starting to come in. I understand that it's a career high mark. I get that, but it's been running really consistently recently over this trip on this kind of ground in class 1s and 2s. I understand that this is going to be competitive, but Brookie finished behind would easily turn that form over. Sainsbury will 100% turn the form over, just on the weights. That's what I'm reading that on. In reality, different things can happen, but on paper, should definitely turn that form over. Both are ahead of it in the back betting, so I'm taking that price. Finally, the 1810 at Newcastle. That's the 1810 at Newcastle, or 610. And it is Miss Mimi. Miss Mimi at 12-1 is so overpriced it's unreal. Again, much like the Jazz Bomb thing, this is an extra race, so 4 places. 7 of its last 8 starts have been in the top 4. And the last 3 haven't been outside the top 3. Even the 6th was a very, very close up 6th. Over its preferred distance, in my opinion, because that 6th was over 5 furlongs. I think that was an experiment that didn't exactly work. Back at 6 furlongs, this horse is going to love this. Ziggy's Condor is my main worry, the favourite, because it has been running in a better class of race, but this is wide open, and I think Miss Mimi is heavily looked over here. To go through the overpriced, so we've got the 12:55 at Ascot, 12:55 at Ascot, and that's Mermaid's Cave. I just think it's a solid horse, heavily overpriced, probably going to drift 16-1 currently. The 205 at Ascot, the one I was on about earlier. Largy Poet, I think, is a really interesting winner for Paul Nicholls and Harry Cobden. I think we'll appreciate this very long trip. So I just think 15-2 is very looked over. It was actually much bigger last night, but it's drifting out again. In the 225 at Haydock, which is a huge race, that's the favourite's probably the one to be on. And I'm a bit all over with kind of like, there were multiple horses I like, but the horse that's heavily overpriced is Harbour Lake here. Likes this grade, likes this ground, likes the distance, loves the stamina test like this. Relatively consistent. Alan King's going top dollar. Yeah, Harbour Lake is 25-1 right now. Just gone out from 20s to 25s. Love that. The bigger the better. Then the 640 at Newcastle is Alpine Girl. Alpine Girl here is 20-1. It is a ridiculous price. A ridiculous price for this horse. I think it's well within a shout. Don't understand why it's so overlooked. Fair, if that's if that's what the bookies want to do, give me some money. It's an extra place races again. You'd probably get 5 or 6 on Will Hill, and still get very good odds. So yeah, that's where I'm looking. And finally, we head over to Wolverhampton for the 755. And the 755 at Wolverhampton's pick is Poetic Force. Is massively on the drift. Do not understand it. I understand it hasn't run well on the all-weather before, but has been an immense form and improved as a horse massively for Tony Carroll. And great hands under Jack Doughty. Yeah, 11-1 right now. I think it will continue going out, and I would take whatever price they give you. It's again an extra place race. That's all your horses for today. I know there's a lot there. I need to kind of update the stats and that, but yeah, it's an amazing day. I also just to mention, someone mentioned in the comments, Davy Boy Blue, about the big race today involving Mr. Hope Street, who I've tipped up before. I think this is a wide open race. I'd be really tempted to just pretty much to play the field and take on Aroko and the Jukebox Man with the other three in the market: Nappers Hill, Butch, Mr. Hope Street. Now Butch has come in, and I did think Butch was the interesting runner in the field. But to be honest, they're all at odds still, where you can back all of them each way and take on the biggies. I just think Aroko. This isn't the test for Aroko. Aroko's horrendously inconsistent, but Aroko's target is Grand National. Let's not, oversee that. And yes, I know Haiti Couleurs is that, and I tipped that, and so I'm kind of talking against myself. But Haiti Couleurs was still running over a 3-mile trip. This is less than that. This is a fitness test for Aroko. I could see Aroko finishing second or third. The Jukebox Man is the solid. However, my personal opinion is that the Jukebox Man will need the run. However, I could be so wide of the mark there, it's unreal. But I just think it's a really interesting race. I like taking on the favourites in it. But if I'm perfectly honest, it's probably a race I just watch. But yeah, there's all your horses for the day. I will catch you on the other side. Hopefully, I'll have a sports bet for you. I need to go through the stats, but there's your horses. Have a good day betting.